hit my true rock bottom, guys. Like, I never thought that it could happen to me. I never thought I was the type of person that would be affected to that level, but it changed me in every single way, and negatively as well. And what it gave me was, it set me back on all my personal development, all the things that I thought I'd been building over all these years of sacrifice and hard work, and it just completely set me back. Because I found myself in a situation where, like, no matter what I did, I just felt like I wasn't in control and I couldn't get out of it. And slowly it just broke me down. It broke my mind down. It broke my mindset, my positive energy, and it just destroyed me. And I was just negative. I was feeling trapped. I was at a low energy all day. I was waking up and just not even seeing the point of, not I'm saying suicide or anything like that. I've never been that, but I was just like, I felt like I could never get out of this situation. I felt like I wasn't in control. I felt like I couldn't breathe every day, and it's like I was in constant pain, and the pain would just never stop. And what's crazy is, look, I've always been into sports, always popular, always in shape, always highly motivated, highly dedicated. I never did the partying, I never did I've done it, don't get me wrong, but I made all the sacrifices, I made what I thought were the right decisions, and I still got wrecked. And that was hard for me, that was really hard for me. But let me just take you through a normal day when I was at my true rock bottom. What I would do was, I'd wake up, straight away, first thing, I'd be on my phone. And then I'd put your headphones on, and I'm listening to music. I had a full-blown music addiction. Now that might sound cool, it might not sound like a problem, but when you're addicted to music, what it means is you're scared of your thoughts. That's not a good situation to be in. Like, if you can't sit in silence with yourself for an hour, you're blocking your mind to be able to think. And you're just putting information into your brain, and that's what I was doing. I was just constantly distracting myself with stuff. The situation I was trapped in, I just couldn't escape. And it was just crushing in on me. And look, I lost loads of friends because of it. And then what you realise as well when you're at rock bottom, people stop being there for you, people stop talking to you. And when that starts happening, and you're going through financial problems, relationship problems all at the same time, and problems just start adding to the pile, and the more problems that you get, the more it disables you, and the deeper the situation you end up in. And this is what I found with myself. I got so deep in this scenario, and I felt hopeless with it, and it just broke me down for time, for ages. But look, I eventually started seeing some clarity, and when I followed through this exercise I'm about to share with you, it got me out of that situation quite fast, and it actually put me back in control where I'm used to being. And that's what the big driving factor and change was for me. So that's what I'm going to share with you right now. The reason why I stayed at rock bottom and I had such a hard time there, because all of the problems in my life all seemed too big for me to be able to fix. So even though I had all the time and no distractions to actually sit and fix all the problems, because all these problems were so big and all happening at the same time, it was just crushing me mentally for months on months on months. Like, the worst experience I've ever had in my life. And what I found was, I felt like I was completely unable to get out of it, and I felt like it would never end. And the problem is, when you're at that low vibrational state, and you're taking on bad habits, and your sleep's off, and you can't focus, and you're stressing all the time, you're spending too much time on your own, you're not seeing with clarity, your mind cannot see with clarity. So this is why it's so sticky to stay in this problem, because you're not seeing stuff logically. I used to wake up, noise cancelling headphones, straight on social media, have breakfast, go sit behind the laptop, get distracted, social media all day. I'd be drinking coffees all day, doing loads of nicotine pouches. I did that many nicotine pouches, yeah. My gums started receding. You know, snus. I was just smashing them. I was just after stimulant all day. I was taking modafinils, which is ADHD medication, like Adderall, and on social media all day, and just bad habits. Couldn't sleep on a night. I'd have straight sleepless nights. What I've realised is, and it took me such a long time to realise, the reason why I was staying at rock bottom is because I was supplementing issues in my life with external things, like shit food, like taking stimulants, like ADHD medication. I was taking all these things to try and get me through the day because it felt like the challenge was too big in my mind. And because I had so many problems happening at the same time, I just felt like I couldn't get out of it. And when I think about when I was building my first business and I went through a lot of challenges, like, yeah, those were hard. I had a very hard time really getting stuff moving because when I was starting from zero, I had nothing and I didn't know anything. Everything, no matter how bad your life is, debt, family members, whatever, this time will pass. And the fact is, there is things that you can do to control this situation right now. The problem what I was in, I had multiple issues at the same time. That problem was reliant on that problem, yet that problem was reliant on that problem, yet that problem was reliant on that problem, and then that problem was reliant on that problem. Your mind is looking like this in confusion. You don't know where to start. And because you're in a low vibrational state all the time, because you've gone through some major shit, you're feeling like you are not in control, because you've got all these problems, because you feel like you can't get out of it, your decision making and your self-confidence is down here. So you're in this situation where you're looking at all your problems, and because your mindset is so low and your energy is so low and your self-confidence is so low, this is the big thing for me. It knocked my self-confidence down. It really knocked my self-confidence down. And the crazy thing is, I was never an unconfident person. I was always after my goals every single day. I always saw it clearly. I always got straight on it, and it completely changed me as a person. Even when it comes to sleeping and my diet, I was never this guy to be depressed all the time and not being able to handle problems. I was always able to just get on with it. I was just always being able to do it, but I was trapped in this cycle. I was trapped in this, and the problem is, your brain, let me just draw a brain out. Your brain needs to think of a solution. Not very good, is it? But that's your brain, and your brain needs to think of a solution. The problem is, every single time you putting music in, every single time you're watching TikTok, every single time you're on YouTube, every single time you're getting drunk, what you're doing is you're not allowing your brain to think. This is going to be your biggest asset when you've got zero. Sometimes all you've got is that. Sometimes all you've got is your ability to think. And the problem is, when you're looking at a lot of problems and you don't know how to solve them, your brain is just thinking about this cycle here. Now this is what stress feels like. This is what stress looks like, because it's too big. The problem is too big. And every time you look at this, all the problem looks like one massive problem that's massively intertwined. So this is why every single time your brain looks at your problems, they're all dependent on each other. And then what your brain will do is it'll tell you to go watch YouTube. It'll tell you to listen to music. It'll tell you to go on TikTok. It'll tell you to go out and get drunk or smoke weed or do all this loser shit. It'll tell you to do all these because it doesn't want to think about these. Now, the issue with that is only temporary. It's only temporary relief. And what you'll find is, every single time you shoot for temporary relief, the problem comes back. This doesn't go. That's still there. And then it feels worse. And then you feel less in control. So that's when your self-confidence goes down. And the problem is, you get into a cycle of doing this over and over and over and over again. Now, because you get some momentary relief from doing these things, that's signifying to your brain that the problem is solved. But you know it's not. And deep down, you know it's not. So what it is it's temporary relief. It takes the stress off for a little bit. But you're just prolonging this big issue. Now, your brain will keep going to these because that's where it feels the relief. But the problem is, unless you deal with this problem, then it will never go away, and you're going to be stuck in this cycle. And the thing is about making wins and making losses, this is something that is an absolute major key. This is something that I realised, and this is something that can completely change the game for you and give you some optimism when you're actually at ground zero. Wins and losses accumulate either way. So when you're winning, it's like a cycle. You keep winning, it's easy to win. But then when you start losing, it's easier to lose and you can keep losing. And both cycles are very powerful. This is a negative cycle. Okay, but the positive cycle starts when you start dealing with this one. So now you're probably thinking, well, yeah, but we've still got the same problem. I've got all these problems that I can't solve. Okay, so do you remember before when I said that your brain is not seeing with clarity? It's not seeing with clarity because you're likely just distracting it. Now, this is what you need to do. Take a sheet of paper, A4 sheet of paper. No music, no phones. Go meditate before this if you need to. Go on a walk, get your brain clear, breathe, sit down for a little bit, just focus. Write your major problems, 5 to 10, okay? So let's just say sell car, get job, pay debt, sell old stuff. Let's say quit job. Let's say start business. These problems are obviously going to be different for whoever's filling it out. Let's just say you're looking at these and you're thinking, right, well, I'm in debt, so I need to pay my debt. Now, I hate my fucking job, or my business is failing, or my business is not making enough money. But the problem is, because you need to pay your debt, you don't want to quit your job. Because you need to get to work, you can't sell your car. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, what am I meant to do because they're all dependent on each other? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to draw boxes around them. And what we're trying to focus on is one that you can control. So you can always control one of these issues. Now, your brain will be telling you to go with the most pressing issue first. But more than likely, the most pressing issue is going to be the most difficult one. So you don't want to start with the most pressing issue. You want to start with the one that you can control. Now, what this is meant to be is, this is meant to be like a puzzle. So you're going to draw it like a little puzzle piece. Little puzzle pieces here. The thing is, what we're trying to do is, we're trying to number it all. So, you might look at sell all stuff. Well, yeah, I can control that. I can do that this weekend. It's not the most important thing. I need to get a job. Or I need to pay my debt, which is due next month. That's the most important thing. But the thing is, this is the one that we can control. So what we're going to do is, we're going to put number 1 on that. Then you might be thinking, number 2, well, that's get a job. Well, I can apply for jobs while I'm at home. Okay, well, that's number 2, get a job. I can't sell my car yet because I need to pay the debt and I need to get to work. Okay, I want to start this business. Well, I can give 2 hours a night on this. So maybe this, and then once I get a new job, I can maybe start doing this and starting this business because I'll have enough money coming in. I don't like my job. So then we'll put number 3. And now we're starting to sell old stuff. So then, we've got a new job. So then the focus is going to be pay off debt. Number 4. And now we've got a new job. We need to sell the car because we need some cash. Again, your problems are going to be different to this. But what you're going to find is a lot of your problems are going to be leaning on each other. But when you put it like this, now all of a sudden, we're not looking at 6 problems. We're not looking at 10 problems. We're looking at 1. This is the first objective. We only need to focus on one thing now. So now the task is at least 6 times less or 10 times less or however many problems you're dealing with. Now we can just focus on doing this. And what you'll find is, right, well, I can sell old stuff. I can do that on Saturday, I can do that this weekend. It's all been in my control all this time. That's the thing. I had all these problems going on. And I would try do one of them for a day. I'd try do another one for a day. I'd try do another one for half a day, another one for 2 hours. And the problem is I'd bounce around all these problems. And it's because I didn't do this list sooner and I didn't look at one priority and give all my time until that's complete. I was sort of 20% doing everything. But with this system, this is where you can write a puzzle and really get out of a bad situation. So now we focus on this one thing. And let's say now we're focusing on sell old stuff. Number 1. You write it down like a puzzle piece. This is the table with all the empty pieces. And then you start writing it down. Right, now we've done number 1. Cross it off. Get a job. Number 2. Now you've done that. Cross it off. And look, when you start working through your stuff like this, it's going to give you clarity and going to give you the ability to focus. Now, if you are in rock bottom, or you feel like you're in a rock bottom, it's very sticky and it's hard to escape. And this is what can trap you there. So when you write down your problems like this is where you're going to really be able to get that edge and get out of that situation that you're in. And this is the system I use to seriously change my life around and get me out of the scenario of being not in control, feeling like I've got no chance and I'm finished. And look, I'm 25. I'm still young, and I felt like I was finished. And look, I've always had a business. I've always made the right decisions. I've always invested money in the business. I've always not gone out. I've always avoided doing drugs. I've always avoided the drink. I've always saved my money. I've always put time into relationships, and I still got fucked. But for entrepreneurship, that's the game. That's the game that you're signing up for. That can happen. And that's it. That's business. That's what it is. But when you're looking at this, this is going to give you an ability to solve problems like never before. And when you really crack this down, what you'll realise, it's all been in your control all this time. So look, if you've got some problems, start with this. Start with this exercise. Subscribe to the channel if you think this helped. Go through this exercise and let me know how you get on. Please leave a comment down below. But yeah, guys, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, let's get it.